Let's see. Hello, everybody. We are
Come on here.
getting set up.
That's it.
Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead on a Saturday Night Live. You might could do that old Saturday Night Live thing, huh?
Probably could.
I don't remember how it was.
Oh, man.
Fix that. I think we're good. I did it without too much.
Hi, this is Rod, whose wife is from Wiggins. All right, which Wiggins? There's two Wiggins, Mississippi. Which one?
That's the guy, I think, that messaged me a few times, and every time he'd message, he'd say, "Hey, this is Rod. My wife is from Wiggins."
Okay.
I remember. I mean,
Yeah, there's actually two Wiggins, Mississippi. One's in central Mississippi, and then one's on the Gulf Coast.
thank you, Rhonda. I just got out of the shower.
I just walked in the house.
We're pushing it today.
We're pushing it big time.
Oh.
Oh.
So, I just, it's still wet in the back, and I didn't do anything to it but just walk in. I mean, it dried just a little while I was riding the Ranger to shut the gate, and also.
Oh, from State Line. I know where State Line's at. Been there several times. Middle Tennessee Living says, yes,
Yeah.
it's me.
And so, you know, we went from hot. We had, several weeks of
We had
just
several
hot.
weeks of 85 plus weather.
It just was, it would be kind of cool at times in the early morning, hot during the day, cooler at night, but never lower than 60. Always 65, 70 at night. And then we hit that, 2.5 days of cold temperatures, but it did not get down to,
It plunged,
28?
it went to 28. Yep.
So we didn't get,
Only once.
yeah, just for 3 or 4 hours.
For 6 hours, it went to 28 degrees.
6.
For 6 hours, and then 2 days, one day it went 38, and then one day it went 35.
Yeah, so we didn't get a bad freeze, but we did get a good frost. It bit a lot of stuff.
It bit a good bit of stuff.
And then yesterday, a lot of people were getting all these tornadoes and heavy rains and bad weather. We are far enough south that we didn't get any.
We didn't even get a rain.
We didn't get rain or anything.
Get nothing.
So we want y'all to pray for our northern neighbors that did get the tornado. It tore Rolling Forks, Mississippi up really, really bad. And from one thing I saw earlier, even the sheriff's department, the police department, the city hall, the courthouse, it hit every building in that little town.
That little town was virtually, now I haven't actually seen a lot of it, Wanda has, I've been working all day, but she told me that it was virtually wiped off the map.
Houses didn't even look like houses.
Right.
I mean, it's something that you would think you would see in a mobile home after a tornado. Now, it did take out several mobile homes also, but some of the houses I saw, you wouldn't even know there was a house there. It did not even look like a house, where usually a tornado, this was an EF4 plus. Now, I have had an EF5 hit close to where I lived before, and I still don't think it did this much damage.
No,
Wanda
showed me some brief pictures while I was working. It was pretty devastating, and our heart goes out to those. But guys, I want y'all to understand, I have mentioned over and over and over about the 33rd parallel. If you get close to the 33rd parallel, things are going to be bad. And lots of people say, well, I don't know where the 33rd parallel is. If you go to the top of Louisiana, go straight across Mississippi. That's the 33rd parallel. Right there and above, just right in that area, guys, I don't know how much more to tell people. That you've got to prepare, because it's going to be bad. I mean, I've been saying this for over, 2 years now?
Or more.
Or more?
3 or better, I think.
Between the 33rd and the 45th parallel is going to be really bad for cold. So, I mean, I just, my heart goes out to the people.
Libby said they're on the line. Yes.
Yeah, I mean,
Danny watches y'all's weather.
I watch y'all's weather
all
the time because I tell Wanda, I said, Miss Lippy was right in the heart of where
they predict. It may not hit them as hard as it does like 30 miles from her, or north or south or east or west, whichever way. But she's in that area where it's moving across every time. And my kids are in that area. And so there's a certain parallel there where it starts running. Yeah. And when it runs, you know, you never know who's getting the tornado.
Yeah.
I mean, you've had them here, so we were talking about that earlier.
I mean, guys, it's modification. That's all I know how to say it. I can't say a lot, but it's modification. It's been determined that that part of the country is going to be destroyed. And there's nothing we can do to stop it. Our heart goes out to people. And then, not only that, we live close enough to the Gulf Coast that when hurricane season starts, then it'll be us who has to wake the brunt of everything. Now, luckily, we have underground facilities, but that doesn't keep anything from happening to what's above the ground up here. Because they're talking about hurricanes are going to actually double in strength here in the next year or two, and even this year possibly, and we're just sitting back gritting our teeth saying, Lord, please, you know, do something with these people who's modifying all this stuff.
A hurricane's bad enough.
Yeah, it's bad enough when it's just a hurricane.
Just a hurricane.
But to modify it, I mean, that's horrible.
Yeah, and we haven't, I mean, you and I haven't been through a hurricane since we married. We've had some little hurricanes come through.
We've been through 100-mile-an-hour ones.
Yeah.
But that's,
we call those little hurricanes.
Those aren't.
I know a lot of people are going 100 mile per hour, but no, that's little. Since Danny and I have been married, it's 10 years this year, there's not been a major hurricane hit where we're at.
Yeah.
The last one that hit here was Katrina, I believe.
Yeah, Katrina was the last major one.
Major.
Yeah.
Now, there's little hurricanes that float by all the time. And yes, we take precautions every time, even when it's 80 mile per hour winds.
If it don't matter if it's 80, we just think about all of our high tunnels. I mean, there's so much timber standing around, our barns. I mean, guys, we all have to think about these things, you know, and people go, well, I've got insurance. Let me tell you something. Insurance companies are not going to help you when it happens. I went through Katrina. I saw insurance companies squander and take what people should have gotten away from them, all because of little hidden clauses inside legalities inside insurance policies, and this is just crazy. I'm gonna tell you.
Well, one of them was a friend of mine had a house on the coast, and where it was at, it was not on the coast exactly. It was back up off the coast about 10-15 miles. So the flood waters, they didn't have flood insurance. They'd never flooded, ever. But yet, when Katrina came in and it pushed that water, they had water in a 2-story house, both stories. Do you know the insurance company gave them $5,000? That was it, to replace the unit outside. That was it. The whole house destroyed. They said because it was flood waters, and they didn't have flood insurance.
Yeah, they always look for little minute things. That's the reason insurance is a ripoff. I'm going to tell you, it's a ripoff. But my heart goes out to people. I mean, it's going to go out to people along the Gulf Coast here when hurricane season comes. And then when tornado season comes, you get that 33rd parallel through the country. You're just looking at, I mean, it's already been predetermined. It's going to happen.
Oh, Lou, I'm so sorry. Lou is in that area. I thought you were somewhere close, but I did not know you were right in there. She said 3 people she knows
has died
in that
tornado. I think, what did you tell me today? There's been over 20-something people?
I think they said 24. Lou can tell us if it's been more, but last I heard was like 24. So keep that town in your prayers, because it's going to take them a while to fix all that back and to even get back some semblance of life there.
Shiloh says, do y'all think America is going to make it to 2025?
Some parts of it.
Some parts of it. Some parts of it probably will, but America will be broken up into different sections probably by then. You know, I'm gonna leave it at that. But there's already plans underway to divide America.
Okay, somebody's asking about a plane crash in New York. They're saying terror is involved. Well, you've not heard that word in
That's a word that
time.
you haven't heard mentioned in a long, long time.
I mean, for a long time you were hearing that, and then all of a sudden it just went away. So you're going to see
what you will see now when you talk about using that word is going to be homegrown. That word.
Yeah.
We technically can't use that word now.
Yeah, I said it a while ago, but let's hope they kind of skim on by that one.
Yeah. Let's just say that what we're facing now is those that are homegrown. These are the worst kind because you don't know who they are, you don't know where they are, you can't track them, you can't keep up with them. It just happens.
Todd, we do not have any bulls available, but I do know Gossmania is in the chat. And they have one of our, I think they got one of our bulls, didn't they? And they have a bull that is the baby from that. Or no, they got a female.
They got a heifer from us. They already had a bull, yeah.
So they have a heifer that has one of our, a descendant of ours. You could ask Gossmania. Thank you.
How do you say that?
TTARP.
PNELLOJ? EOJ?
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wanda, your hair looks lovely.
Jolene Pratt. I'm reading it backwards. I'm just saying. Jolene Pratt. Jolene? Jolelle? I don't know. Jollen.
Jolene.
Okay.
Jolene. Okay. Jolene Pratt. Okay. If we read it backwards, okay.
I'm just saying. Thank you.
Yeah, I don't know if we can. I mean, guys, these people lost everything. Literally, when I say everything, the pictures I seen, even the water tank blew to the ground.
Yeah,
and busted. I mean,
because I thought it was a sign, like you see these big old signs that like used to at the service stations. There were huge signs that used to stand out there that said oil or gas or something. I thought that's what it was, and they said no, that was a water tank, and it fell over, and I guess the water went everywhere. I don't know.
Brave Lily says, I have Betty and a 9-month-old bull calf. Well, Brave Lily, if you're interested in selling the bull calf, you can get with the individual, go back through the chat, get with them, send them a, if you want to get rid of it. I mean, we have another one, but he's going in the freezer.
Yeah, we're keeping one for the freezer, and the others are...
One we're saving for new breeding at the new homestead, and then the other one is going to go to freezer camp.
And we're kind of dividing our herd a little bit.
Yeah.
So right now we won't. We've got one on the way, possibly two anytime. Miss Daisy kind of shocked us. We thought she was due, and she hasn't had a baby.
She hasn't had a baby, so she missed.
She missed the first time we thought she took. So,
yeah.
But Miss Dixie is due pretty quick.
Pretty quick, yeah.
All right.
Okay, so we haven't seen anything. I've been working all day, guys.
Rolling Fort, Silver City, Amory, Winona were also hit.
They're telling everyone to evacuate Manhattan of a chemical spill from a plane crash. Now, Manhattan, that's downtown New York. Did the plane crash into downtown New York? Because I used to work in Manhattan.
Yeah. Because that's a big area to have to evacuate.
Oh, Lord, yeah.
I mean, that's a lot of people, and most of them don't have cars. And so you're looking at how you're going to get all these people out. Because when I was in college, right about the time Danny and I married, right before we married, they had a problem in New York, and my teacher's daughter was in New York, and she was in a high-rise, and she was locked in a high-rise for more than 2 weeks before they could get her out of the high-rise and get her to
Deep South Homestead, they're saying 17,000 died already.
More
expected. What?
17,000 already from a plane crash?
From a plane crash? I have missed this completely.
We have not even been, let me be... Let me see what's going on. I haven't.
We haven't even. I mean, of course, I haven't been online all day, other than to look up a couple of things. But
yeah, he was working on the cub. So tell him about the cub while I investigate.
Anyway, I'm switching to change gears here just a little bit while Miss Wanda looks us up. I'm converting the Farmall Cub from a 6-volt over to a 12-volt, and we're trying to do a video on it, but it has turned out to be a monster of a job because I ordered a kit from Steiner's to do it with.
Nothing's coming up other than.
But there's lots of things that they're not telling you in this kit, and I've had to figure it out the hard way, because all they tell you in the kit is how to hook up an amp meter gauge, and I don't want an amp meter gauge on mine. I want a voltmeter gauge. So there's no instructions. I found one YouTube video that shows how to hook up a voltmeter gauge to a Farmall Cub that has the type of system that mine has, and I have been looking for hours trying to figure out it. So, because I don't want to burn up a brand new alternator putting on this Cub, and I finally found it and I got it hooked up, but I'm not 100% sure just yet because I want time to run this thing and all to make sure it's going to be all right, everything's going to work fine, because I don't want to put a video out and it not be 100% accurate, because when I do the install on this, I want it to be perfect. So I have been all day. Now, we did go over to Pecan Grove this morning. We went over to check the Danny corn. We went over. Ms. Wanda done some hoeing. She dug a few potatoes, believe it or not. We've got potatoes that's already ready. And
I'm not finding anything, so I don't know what it is.
Everybody says it's probably a bot.
Yeah, it's got to be, because there's nothing.
There's nothing out there. It's probably just someone trying to start something. Yeah,
so
someone. Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, I'm seeing nothing, West Virginia.
That's somebody just trying to start something.
Yeah.
But anyway, we did go to Pecan Grove. We do have everything over there ready to move the cows over. We're just going to try to wait till after all the weather's over with, because we got like 3 days of heavy rain coming. We'll be moving the cows after that. We wanted to make sure all the crops were ready for the rain. Ms. Wanda's got a lot of stuff coming up.
Denny's laughed at me because about maybe 2.5 weeks ago, maybe a little over a week and a half before the cold snap, put it that way, he plowed up some land and he said, "You can have this, and I'm putting the corn here." And I went over there and I planted zucchini, squash, the straight neck squash. I planted okra, spaghetti squash, cantaloupe, green beans, and pineapples. And Danny's looking at me like, there's no way all that's going to make it. Plus, I'd already put 2 tomato plants out and 3 pepper plants. Well, when that cold spell come, there was only a few plants about 1 inch to 1.5 inches tall, and I took pots that we got plants in and covered them. And I covered everything I could cover that I saw was up, and I covered my pineapples. The pineapples did good. All the little plants, probably about 75% of them made it. Now I've got green beans coming up. What else? Squash.
I don't know.
The okra came up.
The okra, actually, I remember you telling me that the okra came up.
Yeah, usually Danny and I sometimes have planted in the ground. Now this is not seed starting. This is planting in the ground, sowed in the ground, and usually we can plant okra and it takes 2 weeks to come up, and it was up within a week.
Usually it was up within a week. Somebody wants to know, this passed, about what do I put calcium nitrate on? What plants do I use calcium nitrate on? I use calcium nitrate on tomatoes. I use it on squash. I use it on bulbing onions. And those are the 3 main. I will use it on peppers, just kind of sparingly because it's a nitrate, and I don't want to get too big and too leggy of a plant. I mainly do it once they get up and get to bearing, start to bearing some fruit. I'll use some calcium nitrate on them then.
Okay, now somebody's asked a couple of times, or it's similar questions, how many miles per hour wind can a high tunnel take? And
well, it all depends on how you build a high tunnel. Ours has, according to my design, if you go look at our videos and see how I built the end walls, ours has stood 100-mile-an-hour winds with absolutely no problem at all.
But now you have to take into consideration we're on hills.
Yeah.
And Danny put ours down from the top of the hill.
Yeah, ours is under a hill, plus they're facing northeast and southwest, so that when the bad weather comes, like hurricanes, tornadoes, weather, and all that kind of stuff, it blows against the end walls. It don't blow against the sides of it too much. So, I mean, I tried to take into consideration everything, plus the angle of the sun in the wintertime and in the summertime. I try to take all that into consideration.
All right. Somebody's asked, Spurs Mountain says, does your cub have a magneto?
No, mine has points in it. It does not have a magneto.
Coastal Redwood says, I just planted a muscadine. What do you recommend for fertilize?
On muscadines, I really don't fertilize mine at all the first year. I just let mine set. And if I do put any fertilizer around them, I use a time-release fertilizer like an osmose. Just shake a little bit out on the ground around it, and when you water it, it puts just a little bit of fertilizer in the ground.
All right, Milk and Honey wants to know, can I plant corn before last frost? Well, Danny did.
I planted my Danny corn down in furrows in the ground, and down in the water furrow. My daddy always told me you need to plant in the water furrow, and it withstood 28 degrees. I mean, I ain't gonna tell you that yours will, but
now it burnt the leaves on some of them.
Some of them got some of the leaves.
Some of it turned a little yellow, and some leaves fell off, but the center did not get damaged, obviously. And now it's almost perfect rows of corn.
Yeah.
It looks good if we don't get damaging winds and heavy rains, and we're looking at rain now. So
how big are you letting the bull get before freezer camp? We don't really have a desired weight. We just look at him.
8 to 9 months, 10,
somewhere around. We don't castrate them because it really affects the flavor of the meat if you castrate them. Their hormones get off balance and stuff like that, and there's a little bit of a difference in the flavor. If you butcher them before they become productive testicular wise, then you have nothing to worry about, because really they're not technically breeding or anything like that. And we've never had a problem. Literally never had a problem. Danny, what is the difference between a determinate and an indeterminate? Well, it depends on if you're talking about potatoes or tomatoes or whatever. And potatoes, a determinate potato doesn't have to be bedded up. An indeterminate tomato does need to be bedded up because it will make potatoes up on the stems of it. Now in tomatoes, a determinate tomato, you don't really have to pinch off all the sucker sprouts because it's going to make a bush. The tomatoes are all going to bear within a 2-week period of the time they start getting ripe, which is what I really recommend, to be honest with you, if you're making salsa and stuff like that. But now an indeterminate will continue to just keep growing and bearing all summer long. We've had them get up to 8, 9, 10 feet tall.
They're 8 foot tall in my greenhouse right now.
Yeah, indeterminates, you have to prune the suckers off of them as they grow, or you won't really have anything to, at all.
Okay, somebody's asking, should I start my corn in seed started trays or just straight in the ground?
I do corn straight in the ground. Corn does not transplant well. Is tilling a new garden 3 times with a tractor okay? You till it however many times you need to. But just make sure you chisel plow it or something like that to break that pan up underground. You can till the ground all you want. It's not going to hurt the ground. It might mess up the microbes in the ground a little bit, but until you chisel plow it and break that pan that's deep in the ground where water can rise and lower in the ground, it's not really going to make that much difference.
Jeff wants to know, what's the best blueberry?
The best blueberry depends on what part of the country you live in. Now, if you're in the deep south or in central Mississippi, Premier is probably one of the better blueberries, not necessarily for taste, but for size. I mean, they'll get up as large as quarters if you got the fertilization right on them. And they're really, I mean, they're not, it's not that they're not sweet. They are really sweet. They're just not as sweet as, say, a Tiff Blue or the Alapajas or something like that. But they add up really quick if you've only got just a few bushes. And they tend to bear out within about a 2 or 3 week period, and they're just over.
Does beef castrating thing compare similar to rams?
Well,
I guess if you're going to do it to one and do it to the other,
yes,
similar.
it's basically true with any animal until they reach breeding age. Really, now the only drawback I'll say is with a pig. Now, a pig, if you don't castrate them pretty soon, then you can get what's called boar taint, and that usually comes from if the boar gets around some females before you do the butchering, or whenever they go to put him down, or you go to put him down, if you don't make a clean kill, and he has to squeal and flop around a lot, then you get what's called boar taint in the meat. And sometimes you can shoot a boar, and if you can castrate him real quick when you first shoot him, you can keep some of that out of the meat. But it's a pig you need to castrate. Goats, sheep, cattle, stuff like that. As long as they're not of breeding age, it really isn't that important.
Okay, somebody was saying they picked a blueberry off Florida Homestead, I think. Said they picked a blueberry, a ripe one today. I picked a couple of huckleberries that were ripe. YouTube moderator, attention Deep South, YouTube will be shutting down the stream because of a number of foul language in the chat, shut down in 66 seconds. Okay, that's probably somebody messing around, but if the chat shuts down...
If the chat shuts down, hey, then it is. But I haven't seen
any foul language, so I don't know what they're talking about.
It's probably well, that's that Chris Trap.
They're just trying to troll us, so you guys don't mess with it. Let Miss Lippy and Miss Allison take care of it.
Yeah, y'all
don't try to ban them or hide them yourselves. Let our moderators do it, and they can handle it.
Yeah, don't worry about it, because 65 seconds done gone by.
Yeah.
Where did all the trolls come from, guys? If you do a live,
YouTube's getting worse.
YouTube is getting worse and worse with bots, because AI now runs 100% of everything, and you can expect this in live streams. So don't let it. Don't report them. You ain't got to report them. All this kind of stuff. Let the moderators do their job.
Yeah, because if y'all start clicking on them, that takes the moderators longer to get rid of them.
Yeah.
And so they'll keep on. If you just leave it alone, Miss Lippy says she's removed it, so she's on it. Her and Miss Allison and Mr. Buddy, they pay attention. We've got Gauss Mania, Mark's in here. So we've got plenty of moderators, and let the moderators handle it if you don't mind.
Danny, can chickens and turkeys be raised together in the same pen? Yes, they can. We have done it many, many times. We've never had a whole lot of problems with it. Doris, people are always doing something stupid. Yeah, people are always doing something stupid. Stupid should hurt.
Yeah. Gossmania, we had to do subscribers on our chat the other day, but they still got in. Yeah, they always have.
They will.
Since we've been doing live streams, sometimes it's worse than others. Danny did a live stream in the car one day, and I got out to go into the post office, and they hit him so hard.
They hit me. They were from Israel. They hit me with like thousands of them.
Yeah.
Luckily, my moderator spoke Hebrew, and
she took care
of it right away.
she knew what they were saying and she knew what was going on and she got rid of it. But it was so funny. Danny said it was like the chat just went to running.
It was running fast. And I was telling them, y'all come on, bring it on, you know. And
the more they put up here, I guess, the more it looks like people are watching our videos. So I guess that would be a good thing. Huh?
Okay, Cheryl says, my sugar cane turned brown with a little green. Will they make it? How's yours doing? Ours all turned brown, I'll be honest with you, because we forgot it. We were so busy. But I did notice a tinge of green in it, so it's possible.
And what's so weird, we have a compost pile.
Yes, we have
there
a compost pile.
That Danny threw all the little giblets little bitty pieces of sugar cane that he had chopped as he sent stuff out to people. He just threw the little pieces. I mean, some of them maybe 10 or 12 inches and some 2 or 3 inches. He threw it in the compost pile. Well, he keeps flipping that pile off and on. Every 2 or 3 weeks he'd go out there and flip it. And he hadn't flipped it in, a month,
I hadn't flipped it in a month because I've been over at Pecan Grove working.
And we had sugar cane probably nearly 8-10 inches tall coming up all over it.
Just as green?
It was green. It never got burnt. It was beautiful. And so I went and dug it up yesterday, took it over to Pecan Grove, and Danny planted some more sugar cane there. And what our subscriber gave us, that blue ribbon.
Yes, the blue ribbon's coming up
it's
too.
It's starting to come up. So we've got 2 different types of sugar cane now at Pecan Grove.
Barstool Prophet, thoughts on raising trout or tilapia on a homestead? You'll probably do better raising tilapia as long as you're not in a cold climate. Tilapia needs water that stays around 80 degrees. It's actually a fish that's grown in Vietnam. They raise a lot of them here next to us. So, I mean, I know it can be done, but you do have to maintain the temperature of the water. And they do get to be big, too.
All right. Do you cut or cover asparagus before a hard freeze? I've never covered asparagus.
We've never covered our asparagus. We don't cut it. We don't do anything. We just let the plants go till they die.
What fertilizers do you use when planting onions?
When I plant onions, I use triple 13 because onions need lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of nitrogen. And they need lots and lots and lots of phosphorus because they're a root crop and they thrive on nitrogen. They need nitrogen once they get up and get going. About once every week to week and a half, they need some nitrogen. So you have to keep it constantly coming to them.
Okay. What's the best meat chicken to raise?
Well, it depends on what you... the American breast is probably one of the better meat chickens and homestead chickens because they are a heritage breed. But if you're just looking for just a meat bird that grows out like in 7 weeks, then you can get the Cornish cross, and they're
amazing.
They're amazing. 7 weeks, ours went from like little tiny chicks to like 7 to 11 pounds.
There's Miss Sylvia from the Rocking Chair Society. She visited with us, was it last year, I believe?
Yep, she did.
Let's see. Pretty much Danny's been busy over at Pecan Grove this week working on the barn.
Working on the barn and the fencing and the corral, all that stuff.
So
we finally got it though.
For all of you over on Patreon, we will be showing a video on the corral and stuff eventually if I can get it done.
Yeah, if we can find time to get it done.
I've been so busy I hadn't even had time to do anything, and we're gonna do an update on Deep South.
Something's wrong, the chat ain't moving.
Corn and I don't know. The chat stopped, Joe.
Our chat stopped, guys.
I don't know what happened, but let me do this. Take it down. We have no chat. I don't know. Where did the pop-out go? Let's put it back.
Put it back. Let's see if it actually...
We still have no chat.
We have no chat moving, guys. We are frozen here.
So we have no idea what y'all were saying.
Yeah, that's kind of strange.
Okay.
There it goes.
Now it's going to jump.
Oh, man, now it's going to start jumping. We're going to have to slow it down.
Yeah. Gopher problems.
Can't use poison. Help. Traps. That's the only thing I can tell you, Three Willis Farm. Try to trap them.
Ruth went to a crop swap this morning and got sugar cane. Yay! Not many people have sugar cane.
Ain't many people that has it. Yeah.
Let's see what
this is me sliding over because half the words are.
See. Okay.
Half the words are off the.
That's it right there.
Okay. Yeah.
That's better. Thank y'all for the hair thing. It is what it is.
Anybody have a good recommendation on a yellow meated watermelon? What is that yellow meated one we raised?
I don't remember, but
it come from Hall's Tool. Hall's Tool had a good yellow meated watermelon that we raised.
Yeah. Everybody's saying they like my hair. Thank you. Coastal Redwoods said her sugar cane's coming up.
Oh, Natasha says, what fertilizer do you use on your potatoes? When I first plant my potatoes, I use 8-24-24 because it's got a lot of phosphorus and potassium in it, low nitrogen. But once the potatoes get up and get going, I go back and side dress with like triple 13 so that I get a little higher nitrogen and then still plenty of phosphorus because it's a root crop. Now you have to understand the main thing with root crops is get it in there when the moon is right at the full moon stage. If you let it get past the full moon, then you can be in trouble.
And I harvested potatoes today.
Yes.
Some of our fingerlings and what were the white ones?
Kennebec whites.
Yeah, they weren't very big, but about 6 or 8 of our plants had kind of sort of died. And the rest of them seemed to be having green and going on. So I just dug up some so we'd have fresh potatoes. And so we're going to have fresh potatoes tomorrow. I didn't get them cooked
Tambra
yet.
says, how far apart do I plant my Cherokee tan pumpkins? Probably about 6 foot apart, but be prepared. They'll grow over a 50-foot area. I'm going to tell you.
You can put several of them together and just run them around and around and around. But
as they grow, turn the vines. Every day you're going to have to turn the vines to kind of keep them where you want them at.
Yellow buttercup seedless watermelon, is that it? That don't
Baby
sound...
doll. Yeah, yellow baby doll watermelon.
She said buttercup.
No, this is...
It seemed like it was called baby doll. Or
I think it was called the baby doll.
Something similar.
I think so.
Taters and green beans. Well, I've had yellow wax beans too. Yep. We had some of those. Was it last night?
Last night we had them.
I took and stir fried the yellow wax beans and some carrots and some onions, and it was really good, wasn't it?
Yeah, real good.
Well, last night was carrots. The night before was the yellow wax beans.
Thunder Chicken Ranch says, "Hey Danny, can I put a Dexter bull and a Dexter Jersey mixed heifer on layaway?" We don't do layaway programs because we don't ever know what we're going to have and how they're going to turn out. When I sell mine, I mean, I have a Dexter heifer right now that is fixing to be breeding age in probably
the next couple of months.
Probably 2 to 3 months. She's a purebred Dexter. I don't have any Dexter Jersey cross heifers. All we've been having is bulls from our Dexter Jerseys. But I do have a Dexter heifer right now, Miss Trixie.
Yeah.
She's a brown cow. Or heifer.
How now, brown cow?
No, she's a brown heifer. Yeah.
How now, brown cow?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to plant blueberries and blackberries in tubs this year. What size should I use?
Make sure you go with 25 gallons or bigger. I would go bigger, but some people can't find bigger. But mineral tubs, 25-gallon pots or larger. I would probably 30 would be better, but you know, whatever you can come up with. The bigger the pot, the better.
Any tips on starting a seedless grape in high tunnel?
Just good, rich soil. I mean, my seedless grapes are kicking it. They are I actually have grapes right now.
Somebody said theirs froze. They had a lot on theirs, and it was in a high tunnel, and they still froze. But ours didn't look like they did, because I don't think it got below 40 in there. Did it?
Well, yours got down to 30, but mine stayed about 30, 38, I think is what mine
was. Somebody says they hadn't seen calcium nitrate. Does it go by another name?
A company called High Yield Usually sells it in 5-pound bags. So it's all in our feed stores here. You know, I mean, you can get it. Or you can get it from Amazon, I believe.
I have parsley for the first time last night, and it's so good. I'm going to grow some. Any advice growing parsley? Well, I grew it in my high tunnel. No, it was in yours. And when you first got your high tunnel, I put parsley in there.
Yeah, it was Italian flat leaf parsley.
And I went in there and there were worms all over it. And I killed every one of them worms, and I got in trouble by all the famous YouTube police because they were some monarch butterflies.
It was a monarch butterfly. Yeah.
I mean, worms on my parsley just wasn't getting it, you know? So I killed them all. We didn't need that many butterflies, just saying. What kind of raspberry is best?
The heritage raspberry is the one we have found in the deep south with the heat that actually does the best for us. It's called a heritage raspberry.
Okay, somebody
Are
said,
blueberries heavily pesticided from grocery stores? That just depends. It depends on where they. Oh, I'm sorry.
He's fixing to dump us all over the place.
This one just got this stuff kind of propped up here.
I do. Well, you kind of.
That's not. No, don't mess with it. It's good.
A little bit.
It depends on where it comes from. We used to sell blueberries by the tons of gallons, and they ended up in grocery stores and everywhere. But we didn't use any pesticides. But other grocery stores might. I mean, other growers might. I don't know.
Yeah, that how now brown cow. I don't remember. It just popped into my mind when he said it. But I remember it from a kid for some reason. Halls has water-soluble calcium nitrate, but it's cheaper on Amazon.
Yeah.
Okay, somebody said Ace Hardware.
Ace Hardware had it, I think, too. How are your potatoes doing right now? Mine are shy but growing much. I live in Orlando, Florida. Ours got bit by the cold pretty bad, but it looks like some of them's going to come back out. Do y'all use azomite on any vegetables? Old Alabama gardener. No, we don't use any azomite here. Yeah, but I have seen old Alabama gardener use it before he passed away. Any turkeys gobbling at Pecan Grove? Yep. we heard one gobbling one morning and went back the next morning and heard him gobble and heard 2 shots as soon as he gobbled. Never heard him gobble the third morning. Then
we heard a truck crank up after that.
We heard a truck crank up and leave after that on the property.
Not on our property.
No. But then this morning, we were back over there, and I heard another one gobble again this morning. So there's still one around.
Okay, Ann J says, I just bought plums and peach plants today. Do you recommend planting in the ground or pots this year?
If you've got the place to plant them in the ground, I'd plant them in the ground, because planting them in pots just means you got a baby on for a whole nother year.
Nope says the monkeys sang that in a song. Y'all, I watched Hey Hey with the Monkeys.
We used to.
Can't help it.
One of her monkeys.
Oh, that's just wrong. That may be where I heard it. I just know I heard that when I was a kid. Okay, let's see where we're at. Hey Danny, Sam says, hey Danny, we live in West Mississippi or East, depends on where you look at it. Was wondering, how do I kill a turkey without ending its life?
Well, Sam, I don't know if you can do that.
I'm not sure.
You're gonna have to end its life. That's just all there are to it. You can't. You got to man up. You know, or they call cowboy up. You know, there's nothing wrong with killing. Killing's just part of God's plan. You know, I mean, it is what it is.
Okay, do we practice the Jadam method? Some of them.
Some of them. We don't.
We have I have everything I need to make some of the things that they show in the books. We have the Jadam books.
Right.
But we're not using that now, while we still have available the things like worm castings, and we just inherited 23-year-old poop over at Pecan Grove, and we've got things going on right now. Our cows have not had any graze on hay in almost 3 years.
3 to 4 years. Ours hadn't had any grays on
so
it 3 to 4 years.
We're hoping to have all our natural stuff. Plus, we have 3 ponds now, and we have fish emulsion out the yin yang if we want it. So we're not using any of that, but we are doing things like chop and drop leaves and fruits and stuff that can go back into it, and not any damaged leaves, but healthy things that we just doing to bring back the soil for the plant.
Yeah, should I fertilize berries before blooms? I usually wait till mine starts blooming, and when they start blooming, that's when I hit them with the fertilizer. I use ammonium sulfate because the sulfur in it causes the soil to be just a little more acidic, but you have to be very, very careful with the ammonia because it will burn the plant and burn the grass around it. So you have to be really light with it.
Okay, so How Now Brown Cow was in a children's book, but it also was when we learned to read the owl sound. How Now Brown Cow. Ow, ow, ow.
Baby, you know how that's been 60 years ago for me almost.
No, not quite.
I mean, I have
like
no clue.
56,
I have no clue what happened at that point in my life. I could have run Sally or Jane or whatever, Tom, Dick, and whatever, you know.
It was Dick and Jane.
I'm too old to remember that stuff.
Well, I homeschool my kids, so it all comes back because I had 5 kids and I homeschooled. So what I learned as a young kid, I had to teach my children later in life.
Yeah.
Oh, have you
tried the Georgia rattlesnake watermelon from Hoss Tools? Nope, I had never tried the Georgia rattlesnake.
We have some seeds. I think they sent us some seeds.
We probably have them, but
we don't do a lot of watermelons. If we do, it's just a limited amount, and it's one variety usually. We are going to plant some this year if we get a chance.
Danny, do you watch the Appalachian channel? He goes to some interesting places in Tennessee. You need to check him out. You'll find some cub parts. You talking about Donnie, the one called Donnie? That's the only Appalachian thing I've ever watched is Donnie. Do we have any problems with Canadian geese? Had about 200 in my corn field a while back. We have 2 that flies over our place all the time, but we never had any problems with them.
Yeah.
Farmers have already planted watermelons here in Georgia. Wow, well, if you get them in before the 4th of July, that's always the saying. You know, if you're gonna get them in, you got to get them in before the 4th of July.
Yeah. What are the advantages of homeschooling kids? Well, when
there's advantages and there's disadvantages.
Yeah, when I was homeschooling mine, my daughter was born my oldest in '79, and I started homeschooling when she was 4, and at that time nobody was homeschooling. It was before the big rush, and a couple of 3 years later, quite a few people started homeschooling, and within the next 10 years, a lot of people were homeschooling. It was mainly for me. My kids got a decent education, and they could learn something besides just something in a book. And that was a biggie for me. And mine got to be around adults more than they were around children. They had their friends, they had their time with their friends, but they were also around adults a good bit. And the disadvantages is they're not around children all the times, but that's good and bad. They didn't get into a lot of extracurricular activities, but now my kids homeschool. There's all kinds of extracurricular activities they're in. So it's just according to, some kids don't have social skills, but if they're kept away from people a lot, they have to have that.
Yes, Mr. Donnie, that's Donnie's Law. That's what I watch. It's called Donnie's Law.
Oh, okay. Somebody's saying the Appalachian Channel is John Ward.
Yeah, I don't think I've seen the Appalachian Channel. I don't have time to watch a lot of internet. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. I have to work too much.
Yeah, we've been pretty busy for a while now. Carlos says, as a homeschooler, I can agree we are around adults more often, many times, but I like it. Yeah, my kids were able to talk to adults. When I took them somewhere and somebody asked them questions, they could converse with adults. And I had so many people throughout the years say, look, your kids talk to me like they're on my level. And I said, well, that's because they're around adults a good bit. And they said, but most kids don't. You asked them a question, they're like, huh? Yeah, what? Okay, yeah. You know, my kids could carry on conversations.
Mr. Donnie's right. It's the new Prussian school system we have, or the commie school system that we have today. Darlene says, tell us how the pond is filling up, please.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's like about 3.5 foot.
I don't know if I could show a picture from my phone or not.
I don't know.
Because I forgot, I didn't have time to upload anything.
It's about 3.5 foot from being full. And I kind of, I don't know if, can you turn that around? Can they see that? If you turn it the other way, will it get?
There we go. Let me see if we can do this.
Can we get it up there where it's?
Y'all see that?
That's what it looks like right now.
Okay,
it's only about 3. You're right. You just be still. We're about 3.5 foot from being full. It is really, really coming along really nice.
Oh yeah, we're really thrilled with the way it's looking.
Danny, what's your thoughts on fasting? I think it's great. I think it's a good thing to do. I think it draws you closer to the Lord. It's something that you should do, but there's certain laws that goes along with fasting in the Bible, especially for married couples. So you have to be kind of cautious when you do that. But other than that, it is a good deal.
I'm trying to see if I can get it where they can see. All right, this is the back of the barn now. Let me see if I can get it. That is what it's looking like. We put, guess what? Pecan stain on those boards. Mr.
Yep.
Mickey, you recognize those if Hills Mill's in the house? What is that? Ash?
Ash. That's ash from Mr. Mickey's Hills Mill
in Tennessee.
In Tennessee.
The cows are going to be loving it, y'all. They're going to love it.
Yeah.
Because I stained all those boards. This is what Danny did. Let me see if I can get it where it'll turn. He's been fencing.
This is some of our fencing that we're putting up on the back of the property back there. We've got some of it done. We've got one paddock done. It's about 2.5 acres.
We got to work on some more.
Yeah.
But I didn't get a lot of pictures. I mean, video. I got more pictures, but I didn't get a lot of video. I've not been able to video hardly anything by helping him so much this week. So I'm going to have just enough that I'm going to put together a little something for Patreon is about it. And so.
Yeah. Let's see here. I didn't see what they was talking about the rooster, but.
Oh, somebody said, Joan says her daughter's rooster hates her. He was always attacking me. Somebody says you can hold the rooster down and push his head down. Our aggressive rooster became more submissive that way. Yeah, I don't do well with aggressive anything. If they start doing that, Danny has to get rid of them. That's just our policy.
Greg, you don't have to reprune the fig tree. Just leave it alone. The leaves will fall off. It'll come back out.
What do you think about
Pecatory prayer? Not sure I understand that one.
Did the storm affect y'all last night? No.
No, well,
we didn't even get any rain.
We didn't get any rain, mate. We didn't really get any wind or nothing. One thing about mean roosters, let me tell you something about mean roosters. If you have baby chicks bred from mean roosters, them roosters will usually be mean. Anytime you have a mean one, you might as well cull him, because he will give that trait to the new ones coming along, and we always just get rid of them. I mean, roosters come a dime a dozen, so no matter how pretty they are, you can always do better.
We have 8 ducks that live in the lake at the back of our house. It's my uncle's land and lake. We've had wood ducks in our pond over at Pecan Grove 2 weeks ago. Last week. It was one day last week, I think, maybe. And then, what did we have in our pond? We had, those white We talked about that last week, the white birds.
We had the cranes came in the pond.
Yeah.
But we did have some wood ducks in there one day.
That's right, they flew. Somebody said mean roosters equals chicken noodle soup.
That's what I'm telling you. Whenever you get them, you just as well get rid of them.
Yep.
Oh, slap a 5-gallon bucket over a rooster when he comes after you, then bang the bucket for a few minutes.
That might do it, but
I don't know.
Hmm.
Peggy Allen says we have large hail in our forecast for tonight and tomorrow. Ooh, that ain't good. And V-Knit Queen Solo says, Mr. Danny, they can't be mean in a pot. That is exactly my theory. They cannot be mean in a pot.
Yeah.
I usually, if I have a rooster that gets out of hand, I kill him instantly.
Yeah, we don't wait.
I don't wait. If I'm doing something else and a rooster attacks me, I stop what I'm doing and I dispatch him.
Yeah. So we've got I've got my laying hens and one rooster, and he was brought to us by, they changed their name, but it's Big Family Small Farm, I think, something like that. Anyways, they brought me the rooster because their little girl thought it was a hen, and she was going to raise her a hen, and it turned out to be a rooster, and they had too many roosters. So I have the rooster, and he's always been a good rooster because she toted him around so much when he was little.
Kathy says, my potatoes are chitted and shriveled so much, are they still good to plant? As long as they still have some life in them. What?
Somebody asked.
Oh, I planted ours over at Pecan Grove. It was all shriveled up, and they made potatoes just fine.
Yeah. His shirt says, garden like your life depends on it, because it does. We had those, that was the saying we used at one of our gatherings, and we had those shirts made. His about wore out.
Mine's about wore out. I wore it so much.
We had that, we had a lady make a bunch of shirts for people for the gathering that said that, and I think we had a hat, I think said that.
Well, this one ain't one of them. Not this one. No.
But I think we had a hat, because it's true. You know, if you got a garden like your life depends on it. Do you think the Rio Grande Rift will split the West?
I don't think the Rio Grande Rift will. I think there's going to be something happen across Arizona, coming up through Texas, because there's a lot of seismic unrest all the way from Arizona down across Mexico down into the Cocos Plate down there. There's a lot of seismic unrest in those areas, and it's quite possible that sometime in the future that we could see something happen there.
All right, Pastor Scott's the one that asked about some kind of prayer a while ago. He said it's referring to the prayers mostly in the Psalms praying for divine justice.
Oh, I know what he's talking about. Yeah.
Okay, the rabbits are doing fine.
Oh, the rabbits are great.
Don't have much problems. How long after potatoes come up do you fertilize them?
When they get to be about 8 inches tall, I would say probably around 8 inches tall, I go ahead and I fertilize them right before I bed them up.
Do we have solar panels? Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We have solar panels over the cabin. We have portable solar panels to go along with our stations that we can take them with us if we need to.
Let's see. I am a Nana farmer. That's Patty. Can I only use rabbit poo for fertilize all my... Rabbit poo's good for it.
Rabbit poo is good.
Anything.
It won't burn anything, but it all depends on... It's so hard to tell people and to make them understand. I don't care how much fertilizing you do. I don't care if it's organic. I don't care if it's synthetic. I don't care what you put out there. If you don't have the pH where it needs to be with the right amount of lime or calcium or gypsum, all the fertilizer in the world is not going to do you any good if that pH is not right.
Yeah. What's the best tasting watermelon? A really good ripe one.
The really good ripe ones, I mean, I like the old Jubilees or the Charleston Grays.
Really sweet watermelon.
Really sweet. I mean, those things.
And then pour some salt on it.
And then I like the good yellow meated watermelons. I mean, I like the sugar babies. If you like the smaller watermelons, they're really good.
Yeah. And sprinkle some salt on them.
Well.
He's like, I don't know about that. He doesn't eat salt on his, but I've always eaten
salt. I don't eat salt on my watermelon. I always
eat salt on my watermelon. Link Day said they ordered traveler blackberry plants after seeing ours. They will take over.
They will take a place over. Be prepared. The Arkansas Travelers make a huge berry, and they are so good.
It was
No, it's the Arkansas Traveler or the Freedom Blackberry.
Freedom Blackberry, yeah. Let's see, what's the right pH? Somebody's asking about pH for something.
It depends on the plant. Potatoes need to be around 5 to 5.5. Blueberries need to be around 5 to 5.5. Everything else about 6.8 to 7 for your garden vegetables. 6.8 being the sweet spot. 7's a little alkaline. 6.5's a little acidy. You want to be around 6.8. And the way you do that, I mean, you get a soil test done like we do. We got videos on doing it. Put the right amount of calcium in your soil. I do it in the form of Dolomite lime. If you have heavy clay soil, then you need to do it with gypsum. I mean, there's lots of different ways that you accomplish that.
See, several people like salt on their watermelon. And
some people like salt on green plums too, but I don't do that.
Oh, I love salt on green plums. That is good. So we're just getting a little off track here. Saw a flatbed loaded with wood fence post and thought of you. We could use a flatbed. Oh, we bought enough to do the first 2 paddocks of wood and what's the other one called? Steel fence post. And no, we don't have enough of the steel.
Our moderators ain't doing their job.
What's going on? You can't do it. Hold on.
I can't.
Let me. If moderators are what? Which one?
Well, Golf Mania got it. Okay.
Okay.
Oh,
Lippy says her and Buddy are having internet problems. Okay.
Okay.
Golf Mania got it.
Golf Mania got it. Thank you.
Jubilee, Smith County, watermelon capital of the world, of course.
Yep.
Yes.
That's it.
What's a good strawberry with runners?
All strawberries have runners on them, but it depends on if you want the everbearing. The June everbearing is probably one of the better ones for the South. We've had really good luck out of them.
Yeah. D's in here too. So many trolls. Between D and Gosmania, they probably got it.
Do you have a full-size seeded watermelon that you like? Yeah, the Jubilee or the Charleston Gray. Those are the two that we like the best.
How far are we from the horrific tornadoes? About, what, 5 hours? 4 hours?
No, we're about 4 hours from where the tornadoes hit.
Yeah, we're about 4 hours.
It's time to put your prayer requests up, guys.
Okay. Renee says pray for clean skins next week. I know Miss Lippy had some blood work done, so we want to hope that comes back good this week. Trying to think. My grandson, sorry about that. My grandson Christopher has his surgery scheduled for the 8th of April. He's the one that had 2 masses that they're going to remove. So we want to remember him.
Brenda, yes, you can plant red clover for bare spots, but when it gets to be hot, it will die out.
Yeah. Jan says her granddaughter, somebody's niece, the dog that has tumors. Miss Lippy lost her dog this week to, I think, cancer. So, what does my shirt say? What does it say? I can't even read it. Worry less, pray more.
Yeah, worry less and pray more.
Yeah, worry less and pray more. Chris can't see out of his right eye. Just Have Fun says pray for their feet. They can't work. Y'all pray for my legs and feet and back and Danny's knees and
today was rough. Today's been rough. Yeah.
I don't know, for some reason today it seems like it's probably the bending over a good bit.
It is.
Working in the garden this morning, so just been a little tough. The older you get, the more that hurts.
Yes.
Orphan lady, there she is, Miss Donna. I am working on what you asked me, sent an email, but I'm looking at different aspects of it, so I'll get back with you in the next day or two. Joe Mama says pray for a boost of energy. She's exhausted. Her husband Scott, she's been taking care of him for 2 years, so we want to pray for Scott and for Joe Mama. Twisted Ponies, thank you. Blessings from the River
Thank you,
Swamp.
Twisters and Pony.
So let's see.
Okay.
And pray for the people in Mississippi.
Yes.
And in other places, because it
wasn't only Mississippi that got hit. It went across Alabama. Those tornadoes went all the way from Mississippi to, what would they say, Nashville, Tennessee?
I don't know if it was all tornadoes, but the strong weather.
The strong weather went all the way through there. And
I saw Oklahoma one place has a lot of water. They haven't even been able to plant. So it's not just tornadoes. It's going to be the water, then it's going to be the sun. It's already hot here.
Oh, it's already hot here.
Today got really crazy hot.
Today was bad.
So if it's not one thing, it's going to be something else. So.
Yeah. But anyway, we're going to go to the Lord in prayer, guys. We'll try to remember as much of this as we can. Father, we're coming to you tonight, Lord. Our hearts are heavy for those people that lived up in central Mississippi that got hit by all the tornadoes, Lord, and the loss of life up there, and the path that these storms took, Lord. There's not just north of Mississippi. There were other people involved in this, Lord. And sometimes just one particular section of the country will get all the attention while others are still suffering too. We're praying for everyone, Lord, that was in the path of these storms. And Lord, I pray for the people and the systems that manipulate all this stuff, Lord, that they'll be dealt with justly for the things that they've done. And our hearts go out to the many people, Lord, that's fighting cancer and all the different things that people are trying to deal with. Lord, I've seen so many things here tonight. It just makes you wonder. The time has got to be close for your return, Father. There's just so much happening to everyone. For anything from drug addiction to not having the financial resources to all types of physical issues, from different types of illnesses. Lord, people just having cancer. It seems like cancer is running rampant everywhere, Lord, and we're not even immune from it ourselves. Lord, we know that I've dealt with losing a spouse to it, and I've seen the horrors and the tragedies that goes along with it, Lord. And my heart goes out to people who's dealing with it now. And Father, I just pray for the peace and the comfort and the joy and Lord, the healing power from an almighty God that can come down and that can be the great physician to people, Father, and heal them of all the things that's going on in their bodies. And Lord, I just pray that as we try to move forward in our country here, it seems like everything in the world is against us. We're going to war on every front now. It seems like every time we turn around, there's a new war started somewhere else, and it's just bringing to fruition Matthew chapter 24 when he talks about all the wars and rumors of wars and nations and, Father, kingdoms and everything's against each other. And we're just waiting, Father, to see when Damascus is destroyed, because your scripture says that when Damascus is destroyed, the door is fixing to open, Father. So that's the one thing we're watching. And we're also watching Israel, as Israel is trying to make a bunch of new laws over there that's going to affect the whole world. They want to be the head of the New World Order, which I doubt will happen, but it's possible, I suppose. And Father, I'm concerned for your people, for what they're all caught up in now. And I'm concerned for our own nation. I'm concerned for the people of our country. How easily we fall for so many things that mean nothing at all. But yet we seem like we want to make something big out of them, Lord. I pray that people can have discernment and that their eyes can be open to the things that's happening all around us here and how little by little our life is being sucked out of us and the freedoms are being taken away. And Father, it's just a matter of months now before calamity befalls us, and then life as we know it will probably cease to exist, and we'll all have to learn a new lifestyle. So Father, go with us, guide and direct us, take care of us, heal our bodies, give us the strength we need to make it through the night that we can rise up tomorrow. We ask these things in thy name. Amen.
Oh. I didn't know if you had a tip, but something came to me a while ago. Just like these trolls that are hitting, they threw out something about a plane crash in New York and people being evacuated, chemical spills and all this. They came in here and they threw it out, and everybody automatically believes it first. Then they check it out. Lots of people are believing stuff without checking it out.
Yeah.
And so that's why Danny and I tell y'all, always check your sources. Don't just relay something you heard because you heard it. Because there's people out there that are going 90 to nothing to tell people's false stuff.
Yes.
So just be very, very careful what you hear. Double check it. Try to find sources. If you can't find a source that tells you the same thing over and over, then don't repeat it and don't believe it. That was my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, guys, just there's I don't know. I mean, I always try to give a decent tip every week, and there's so many things happening that
Soul Sister, yes, we see it.
I don't even know where to begin so many times, when it comes to telling people things, because my heart just stays broken for the things that we're going to face. I mean, guys, we're right on the brink of the banking system completely changing and overhauling itself. All these false flags that we're seeing going up, like the SVB out in California and all these places like this, guys, these are just simply people that did not comply, and they were punished because of it.
And there's going to be a change coming.
You're fixing to see, you're fixing to see some huge changes in the next few months. There's things that's already set into motion that's going to change and alter our life as we know it. And I'm talking about all of us. It ain't going to be just some of us. It's going to be all of us.
And you're not going to escape it.
No, you cannot escape it. There is no way possible that you're going to be able to escape what's coming. I mean, and the only thing that I clench and hang on to is that in the scriptures, Christ told us these things were going to happen. And if I belong to Him, then it's not directed at me. It's directed at the evil that surrounds me. And just like the children of Israel was when they were in Egypt, when all the plagues come upon Egypt, they were spared a lot of this. And God was just getting them ready for their going out. And that's the way I'm looking at it. As these things begin to happen around us, I'm not fretting about it. It unnerves me to think of things that we may face, but I know that it's not directed at me because I'm a believer. And if you can keep that concept and build your faith, don't believe everything you see, don't believe everything you hear, use discernment, base everything off of Scripture, and don't alter the Scriptures to fit your needs. Take them for face value for what God intended for them to be. And guys,
and make sure you do know the Scriptures too, because some of what's coming, some of the things in the future is going to twist the scriptures. It's going to sound like they're giving you biblical reasons for stuff.
There is laws.
It's not going to be biblical.
There is laws right now that is on the books that sounds so good for the Christian.
And y'all
and
people
guys,
are going to jump on
people
that
are going to
bandwagon.
fall for them. A lot of them have to do with the Sabbath. And do not fall for this, because once they pass these laws, people are going to go to prison, and it's not going to be because they were doing something wrong. It's going to be because these laws sounded good, but they're there to manipulate the population, and they're targeting the believers by going back to 7 particular laws. Do you know? Well, I can't get into that. I have to.
Yeah, because we are way over our time.
I know, but it doesn't matter. I can't say it. Maybe on porch time. You know what? I'm getting tired of being held back. I'm just getting where more and more I just want to just blurt it out, and I just might do it on porch time. I don't know. I mean, anyway, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We'll see what he says.
We'll see what I have to say. I usually let
if
God.
If I bleep a word or two out just because.
Yeah, because it's getting to where it's harder and harder for me to hold stuff in when I know that the time is short.
Yeah. And we do what we can to tell y'all things, and y'all got to use discernment too.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. So with that.
Anyway, with that being said, guys, we are going to jump off of here. And look, we love y'all, and we just appreciate. And guys, y'all keep wanting me to go over to Rumble. Look, I got word this past week they're monitoring these sites to take people down. They're
fixing to take several sites down.
They have moved people over to these sites, the very conservative ones, so that they know who the conservative ones are, so that when they go looking for them, they'll know who they are.
And even on Freesteading, we have to upload to YouTube. So YouTube monitors whatever, because I put things on Patreon, but I have to upload to YouTube.
Yeah.
And if Danny gets out of line, we've had one pulled that I had on Patreon. So we have to watch now, because I upload to YouTube, to put the link. Freesteading does not have its own platform.
Yeah.
A lot of people say what they want to say over there, and that's fine and good.
That's fine.
But if YouTube does not want them to upload to YouTube and then put it over there, they're going to get pulled off YouTube.
That's true.
Just saying it.
No platform can be trusted, guys. They're all being monitored by the DOD, and there's nothing we can do about it. Yes. Some people may get out and blurt out a lot more stuff.
Because we are with the people on Freesteading, and even they said that they have to obey those rules.
Yeah.
Because we asked about all this kind of stuff before we started promoting Freesteading, and they said, yeah, we're bound by rules just like everybody else. They can say you can go on there if you want to say something, and they're not going to ban you. You can say whatever you want to. They're not bringing you down unless there's certain things, I guess we could say, morally. But it's not always up to them.
Yeah, Joan, you're on the right path. I'll tell you that. You're on the right path, Joan.
So, all right, we got to go?
Yes. We got to get off here, guys. We love you. We appreciate you. And we'll see you in the